Right, okay, so we're going to start in a seated position. So you might want to sit up onto a block or a cushion or a book. And then just taking a few moments here, comfortably sitting, whatever that looks like for you. So it might be legs crossed, might be legs extended, might be sitting on your heels. And just starting to find some stillness. Finding that grounding, the connection with the earth. So noticing the weight of the body connecting to the ground. Feeling yourself rooted to the spot here. And visualizing the shape of your spine. And at the base of the spine we have the sacrum, the triangular bone that gives us that stable base, like the base of a tree trunk. And then the vertebrae rising up, one stacked on top of the other, up to the neck, and the head resting on top of the neck. So as you inhale and exhale, visualizing energy flowing up the spine, up to the crown of the head. And as you exhale, visualizing that energy flowing out over the whole of your body. Taking a couple more breaths here. Perhaps with each exhalation, feeling yourself more deeply connected to the earth. With each inhalation, feeling a lightness throughout the whole body. And then bringing your hands into your heart center. And as you inhale again, reaching the arms up. And then turning the palms out, exhale, releasing to the side. Bringing the hands back together again, inhale and stretching up. Exhaling, open out. One more time, inhale, stretching up. Exhaling and open out. And then turning the palms to face up, inhaling, reaching the hands together, and exhaling back into the center. Inhale, stretching up with the hands, and exhaling down. One more time. And then just letting the hands release back to the legs. And now as you inhale, gently lifting the head up, and then exhale, releasing the chin down to the chest. And inhaling again, lifting up. And exhaling, chin to chest. One more time. Releasing the chin down to the chest. Keeping it here, but bringing the hands around the back of the head, just interlinking the fingers, just to give a little stretch through the back of the neck. Letting the weight of the arms just release the head forwards. And then coming up to the center again, interlinking your fingers now underneath the chin. Inhaling as you lift the head up, keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. Stretching down the front of the throat. Couple more breaths. And then as you exhale, release back down. Okay, now inhaling, looking over to your right. And exhaling back to the center. Inhaling over to the left. And exhale to the center. Inhale right. And back to the center. And then to the left. And coming back to the center. And then take the right arm all the way up and over to the left ear. And then gently drawing the head to one side, stretching out the left side of the neck. Coming back to the center. And then taking it over the other side. And then coming back up to the center. And then gentle neck rotation, so just taking care of your neck here. So breathing as you look over to the right, and then slowly, slowly releasing the chin all the way down and around. And then inhaling as you move the head to the back. A nice complete rotation, 2 more times, exhaling as you come forwards, inhaling as you move the head to the back. 1 more round. And then coming back down to the center. And bringing the head back into the neutral position. Okay, now looking over towards the left side. And then same again, 3 times, nice and slowly around. You might hear a little bit of cracking going on through the joints, but that's okay as long as it's not causing you any pain. Letting a bit of movement come into those joints. And then finishing up back with the chin on the chest and moving back to the center again. Okay, so keep facing towards me. I'm going to turn sideways on. If you had a cushion to sit on, just move that out of your way. And then coming onto your hands and knees, I'm going to come into a cat position here. And then as we inhale, letting the back drop down. And then exhaling, lifting up through the spine, releasing the head down. And again, inhaling as you lift up. And then exhaling, squeeze the belly in. And then 4 more times, like that. Just keeping it in time with your own breath. Don't worry about what I'm doing here. And then finishing up on the next exhalation. And then bring it back into your neutral spine position. So we don't want to have any steep arch at the back, nor a steep rounding, just a nice natural position at the back. And then stretch your right leg out behind you. And then start to reach the left fingertips forward. Keep looking down towards the mat, so try not to look up. So as not to compromise the neck here. Breathing into the pose. Finding the strength through the abdominal muscles. And as you exhale, releasing the hand and the knee back down. Okay, taking it over to the other side, stretching the left leg, right arm out. Finding the stability, core strength here. And then exhale and release back down. And then once more, with the right leg, left arm, stretching out, and then either stay like this or bend the knee in, taking the hand back perhaps to catch hold of the foot, so you get a bit of a stretch here through the quadriceps. And then releasing that down, and then on the other side, stretching out, and either stay like this or bend the knee and take the hand back to catch hold of the foot. So this may not be available to everyone, so just keep in that first position. And then releasing back down. And then just bring yourself to rest into a child pose, so maybe letting the knees open out slightly, resting the bottom back to the heels. You might want to bend the elbows to rest the forehead onto the hands, or perhaps the head will come all the way down to the floor. Just finding a nice resting pose here. And then inhaling, coming back up, tucking your toes under, lifting up into a downward dog here, walking out right heel, left heel a few times. And then coming up onto your toes, and then releasing the heels down towards the floor, pushing away from the hands. Finding a nice stretch through the hamstrings here. And then walking the hands back towards your feet, bending the knees, coming into a soft forward bend, and then slowly unfurl as you come up into standing again. In fact, we haven't been standing yet. Standing for the first time today. So your feet more or less underneath the hips. Take a step back so you can see all of me. And then bring the hands together in front of you. And then inhale and open the arms out. And then exhale into the center. And inhale, open out. And exhale into the center. We'll do 4 more like that. Opening up the lungs as you open the arms, and then squeezing all the stale air out as you close the hands back together. 2 more times. Good. And then letting the hands release back down. Now we're going to do some ankle raises. So as you inhale, coming up onto your toes, and at the same time reaching up with the arms, and then exhaling and slowly releasing it back down. So again, inhale as you come up onto the toes, and then exhaling and slowly release back down. 1 more time, inhaling as you stretch up. Maybe hold it here for a moment or 2. And then releasing it back down. Good. And then just letting the feet relax apart. Okay, now take the hands out in front of you and then squeeze and stretch through the fingers. So Patricia, you might be better to have your mat turned around the other way. Just a thought. And then go up and down from the wrists. And then make the hands into a fist and circle around one way. And then circle back around the other way. Good. And then release back down. And then hands come onto the shoulders, the shoulder rotation. So inhale, bring the elbows together. And then squeezing back with the shoulder blades. So inhaling as you come up. And exhaling back. 1 more time. And then taking it round the other way. So inhale, moving the elbows to the back, and as you exhale, releasing forwards. Inhale, lifting up, and exhaling down. Once more. And then letting the hands release down. Okay, now the next movement is to work on the waist. So bring the hands, so try to keep the hips facing forward here. And we're just moving the upper body. So take the right arm to the back, and then release back to the center. And then take the left arm back, and release back to the center. And right arm again, keeping the hips forwards, and back to the center. And then left arm back. And then once more each side. And then release back to the center, and letting the hands drop down. And then hands onto the hips, let your knees soften slightly here, and then circling around with the hips here. And then back around the other way. And then coming back into the center, and then we're going to release down onto the floor. So coming down to sitting with your legs extended out in front of you. Oh, we've got Julie here. Hi, I was hoping you might be able to join us. Let's let her get set up. I think I have to apologise because we actually started 15 minutes earlier, so I think some of my regulars were assuming it was going to be an 11 o'clock start. So perhaps I should have made that one clearer. Okay, so we're just going to start by pointing and flexing the toes here. Loosening up the legs a little bit, and then with your toes pointing up, squeeze the toes in and then let them relax out. And squeeze the toes in and relaxing out, and then a couple more times, squeeze in and release. And then we're going to circle around the toes. So circling from the ankles here, and then back around the other way. Coming back into the center, and then bend your right knee in, interlink the fingers underneath the thigh, and then pick the foot up, and keeping the ankle still, we're circling from the knee joint here. So 3 or 4 times around one way, and then back around the other way, loosening up through the knee joint, and then release back down, and then taking it to the other side, trying to keep the back up straight while you're doing this, a little bit of abdominal activity going on, and then back around the other way, and then release back down. Okay. So I'm just going to, I think you've all done this with me before, but I'm just going to very quickly demonstrate the next series of postures, because you'll be lying onto your back, so if you aren't familiar with this, just stay sitting and watch for a moment. I'm speeding this up, but this is what we're going to do next. It's a leg rotation, 3 or 4 circles from the hip joint, and then 3 or 4 around the other way, and then releasing slowly back down and coming into a resting pose. Okay, but that's very much speeded up, and I'll talk you through it. So if you'd like to come onto your backs, taking the arms out perpendicular to the body, palms facing towards the floor. And just keep looking straight up towards the ceiling so you keep the head nice and neutral. And then as you inhale, raise the right leg up. Exhale, bend the knee in, interlinking the fingers around the knee. Optionally lifting the head up if that's okay for the neck. And then 3 or 4 big circles with the left leg. And then back around the other way. And releasing the leg to the floor. Stretching the right leg now up to the ceiling, interlink the fingers around the back of the thigh so you feel that stretch down the back of the leg. And then opening the arms out to the side and using your abdominal muscles here to control the leg as you slowly, slowly release back down to the floor. And then just taking the feet slightly apart, releasing the hands a little bit closer to the body, coming into a relaxed Shavasana pose. And then preparing to do the same the other side, so bring the feet back together again, opening the arms out perpendicular to the body, and then inhaling your left leg up. Exhale as you bend the knee in towards you, interlinking the fingers around the knee, lifting the head up if that's okay for the neck, and then circling around the right leg. And back around the other way. And then release the leg and the head back to the floor and stretching left leg up towards the ceiling, interlinking the fingers around the back of the thigh. And then opening the arms out to perpendicular and slowly releasing that leg all the way back down. And then once again coming into your nice relaxed pose. Just finding connection between the body and the floor. You may like to let your eyes gently close here to help that attention come inwards to the body. And just mentally scanning through the body, noticing if there's any areas where you may be holding on to some tension. And by bringing your awareness and your breath to that part of the body, maybe allowing that tension to dissipate away with your exhalation. And now bringing the feet back together, stretching the arms overhead. Take a nice big stretch out here. And then bending the knees in towards you, giving yourself a little hug here, perhaps taking a bit of a rock side to side. And then we're going to hold on either below the knees or behind the thighs, rocking yourself up and down the spine. So getting a nice massage down the length of the spine. And then we're going to bring it up halfway here, coming into a boat pose. So you can maybe hold on to the legs or you might be able to let go and point the hands out in front. And for those of you that have been doing this for a while, maybe stretching the legs out as well. So really good for the abdominal muscles, this one. Keep breathing here. And then just bringing yourself up to sitting. And then you can come onto your hands and knees again. Okay. And then we're going to bring the right foot forwards between the hands as we come into a low lunge position. And then bring the hands up onto the knee. Just find that nice stretch here through the front of the back leg. And then bring the hands back and bring the knee back underneath the hips. And then same on the other side, stepping the left foot forward between the hands. And then really bring the hands up onto the knee. And then releasing the hands back down, now stepping the right foot forwards, coming to a soft forward bend, catching hold of the opposite elbows, letting the crown of the head release towards the floor into a ragdoll position. And then slowly unfurling, bringing yourselves up into a standing position. Okay, so from here we're going to do some sun salutations. I'm just going to adjust the camera angle slightly. So you need to start here towards the top of the mat, so you've got space to step back behind you. Bringing your hands into your heart center here. And as you inhale, reach up with the arms. And then as you exhale, folding the body forwards, releasing the hands down to the floor. Inhale and step the right leg all the way to the back of the mat and let the knee drop down. And then pressing into the hands, stepping the left leg back, coming into a plank position. Inhale, knees to the floor. Exhale, taking the bottom back to the heels. Inhale, lifting up. And then as you exhale, bend the elbows, taking the chest down to the floor, and then belly to the floor. And then a little bit of lift up into a low cobra position. And then pushing yourself back onto all fours and tuck the toes and come back into your downward facing dog. And then just taking a couple of breaths here, looking back between the feet. And then inhale and release the knees to the floor again. Exhale, take the bottom back to the heels. Inhale, lifting the bottom up, stepping the right foot between the hands. And then as you exhale, step the left foot alongside. Open the arms out to the side. Inhale, reaching up, palms together. And then exhaling back to the heart center. And taking a couple of breaths here. I'll do it the other way around this time. So as you inhale, stretch up. And then exhale and fold yourselves forwards. Inhale, stepping the right leg back, knee to the floor. And then exhale, left leg back, coming into a plank position. Inhale, knees down. Exhale, bottom back to heels. Inhale, come up. Bend the elbows, chest releasing towards the floor. And then sliding the belly to the floor, lifting the head and chest up to cobra. And then pushing yourself back up and into downward facing dog. And taking a couple of breaths. And on the next inhale, release the knees down. Exhale, taking the bottom back to the heels. Inhale, coming up again, stepping right foot between the hands. And then exhale, stepping left foot forwards. Arms out to the side. Inhale, reaching the hands up together. And then exhale, hands into the heart center. Take a breath or two here. And if you've gone further back on your mat, you might need to come up to the top again. We're going to do one more round here. So inhale and stretch up. And then exhale, folding the body forwards, bending the knees if you need to, hands to the floor, stepping the right leg towards the back of the mat, and then left leg back into plank position. Inhale, knees to the ground, exhale, bottom back to the heels. Inhale as you lift up onto all fours, and then bending the elbows, take the body down to the ground, and then slowly into a low cobra, head and chest up. And then pushing back up onto all fours and into your downward dog. And maybe 3 deep breaths here. Finding that lengthening down the spine, down the back of the legs. And as you inhale, release the knees to the ground. Exhale, bottom to heels. And then inhale, coming up, right foot between the hands. And then exhale, stepping left foot forwards. Opening the arms out to the side. Inhale, reaching the hands together. And then exhale, hands back into the heart center. And then just let the hands release, relaxing feet apart. Okay, so that should have got your body a little bit warmed up, got all the energy flowing through the system. So let's come into a mountain pose here, so bringing a bit more stillness into the postures. So feet are underneath the hips, shoulders above the hips. Just close your eyes here for a moment and just try to feel the pressure of the body pressing down through the soles of the feet. And then moving your body slightly forward so you feel the pressure on all 10 toes. And then coming back into the center. And then moving the weight slightly back towards your heels, feeling the edges of the heels pressing into the ground. Coming back to the center. And then moving over towards the right side, feeling the edges of the feet pressing into the ground. And coming back to the center, and then taking it over to the left side. And then moving back into the center, feeling now nice even weight distribution through the soles of the feet. And this gives us our steady base of mountain pose. And then we're going to come into a side stretch. So as you inhale, reaching the right arm up, fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, either slide the left hand down the leg or hand to hip if you're supporting lower back issue. Just keep breathing here, finding that stretch all the way through the right side of the body. And as you inhale, coming back upright, and exhale and release the arm down. Okay, and then maybe just closing your eyes here, just noticing any sensations in the body. And then taking it to the other side, so taking the left arm up, reaching fingertips up to the ceiling. And then either hand down the leg or hand onto the hip as you reach that left arm over. Stretching all the way through the left side of the body. Nice natural breath. And then inhale, reaching up, and exhale, releasing that hand down. And again, just closing the eyes here, noticing now perhaps the body feeling more balanced and equal on either side. And then resting feet apart into a relaxed standing pose. Okay, so keeping your feet at hip distance apart as we come into a forward fold. So hands onto the hips. I'm going to turn sideways on here so you can see a bit better. So we're going to try to keep the back straight. Push the bottom out behind you. And then just coming about halfway down. And then start to slide the hands down the legs. And just let the head follow, so the crown of the head's pointing down towards the floor. As we come into our forward fold here. Maybe lifting up the kneecaps helps you to release a little bit further into the pose. Let the neck muscles be nice and soft here. And then a little bit of a bend through the knees as you start to bring the hands onto the hips, and then inhale as you come all the way back up. And then just resting into your relaxed standing pose. And then we're going to do a back bend, so bringing the hands into the bring the feet together first. Bring the hands into the small of the back. So finding a nice stable base with the feet. And then inhale, you lift up through the chest. And then as you exhale, pushing the hips forwards. Maybe lifting the head up towards the ceiling. Just take it as far as you feel comfortable. If there's any experience of dizziness, come out of the pose. Breathe nice and naturally here. And then on the next inhalation, coming back up to vertical, and then exhale, releasing the hands, and then relaxing feet apart. Okay, we're going to come into a balancing pose, so coming back to mountain. Find that steadiness before we start. And then take the weight over towards the left foot, picking the right foot up, open the knee out to the side. And then we've got a choice here. We can keep the big toe on the floor, or bring the sole of the foot against the calf. Or if you're quite familiar with tree, then lifting the foot all the way into the thigh, bringing the hands into the heart center. So just choosing one of those three options, but try not to press the foot directly against the knee. And if you're feeling stable here, maybe starting to reach the hands up. And then opening the arms out to the side, and then releasing the foot back down, and just coming into resting position. Okay, and then back into your mountain pose. Steadiness of the base pose, and then taking the left foot out, either choosing below the knee or up above the knee. And then hands into the heart center. Try to fix your gaze onto a stable point in front of you. It will help you to maintain that steadiness. And then when you're nice and stable, perhaps reaching up with the arms. And then opening out to the side and releasing the foot back down. Good. And then have a little bit of a shake out here. Okay, so coming up a little bit higher up the mat, towards the top of the mat, so you've got space to step back. So stepping back with the left foot, about maybe 3 feet apart, so hips keep facing forwards here. So this one for warrior one, bending through the right knee, and then we're going to reach the arms up. And then maybe taking the gaze up between the hands, increases slightly the back bend here, if that feels okay for your back. Otherwise, you can keep looking forwards or keep the arms a bit lower. So finding whatever modification is going to be best for you today. And on the next exhale, releasing the hands back down, straightening up that right leg, bringing the hands onto the hips. Inhale and lift up through the chest. And then as you exhale, tilting the body from the hips, releasing down over the right leg. Maybe taking the gaze to the big toe or looking back down towards the knee. Try to keep the hips facing towards the short edge of your mat. And from here, we might move into a reverse triangle pose. So taking your left hand to the outside of the right calf, bringing the right hand onto the sacrum at the base of the spine, just turning to look up over that right shoulder. And if you want to take it a bit deeper, then reaching up with the right hand. Just take it to whichever level is working for you. And then releasing the hands back alongside the leg, and then inhale coming up, and exhale stepping up to the top of the mat. And just have a little relax here. I'm going to the other end, so I'm doing the other foot for this side. So stepping the right foot back now, so you've got the left foot forwards. Again, keeping the hips towards the front edge of your mat, bending through the left knee, and then reaching up with the arms, and then either keeping the head facing forwards, or perhaps taking the gaze up between the fingertips. And then as you exhale, releasing the hands back down, straightening up the left leg, hands coming onto the hips, inhaling and lifting up through the chest, and then hinging from the hips as you exhale, folding forwards, gazing towards the big toe or looking towards the kneecap. And then coming into that reverse triangle pose, so taking the right hand to the outside of the left leg, taking the left hand to the base of the spine, turning to look up over the left shoulder, and last option is to reach the left hand up. And then exhale, turning back towards the foot, hands onto the hips, inhale, coming up, and then exhaling to step feet together or feet slightly apart to relax. Okay, so second set with the warrior two pose now. So stepping left foot back, opening the foot out a little bit wider this time. So now the hips are coming to face the long edge of your mat. And we're going to reach out with the arms and then bending the right knee. Just checking your knee is over your ankle so you can just see your big toe poking out. And then taking the gaze maybe to the right hand. So Patricia, your hand should be pointing towards me, towards the camera. No, other way, yeah. That's good. And then straightening the front leg. No, so right hand is forward, left hand back. Okay, and then we're going to move into a triangle. So bring the right hand in front of the calf here, and then reaching up with the left fingertips. And maybe turning the head to look up towards the left hand. It's the left hand that's up. And then looking back towards your foot, and then inhale, bringing the hands up to parallel again. And then bending the right knee. Going to release the elbow onto the knee, and then swing the left arm all the way up and through, coming into an extended side angle pose. So aiming here for a nice straight line down the left side of the body. And then exhale, releasing the hand back down, stepping the feet together and relaxing feet apart. So at any point, if you feel the pose is too much, don't feel you've got to do what I'm saying. I'm doing a little bit more than I perhaps did last week. So if you're finding it a bit hard, just stay in whichever of the modifications is given. Okay, so we're doing the same sequence on the other side. So stepping the right foot back, opening it out to about a 90-degree angle between the 2 feet. Hips facing now up to the other side of the mat. And then bending through the left knee and then reaching out with the arms. So again, just check that the knee's nicely over the ankle here. And then taking the gaze up. So Patricia, your back leg is the one that wants to be straight and the front one bent. Yeah, okay. And arms out along the length of the mat. And then straightening up with the front leg. And then taking the fingertips slightly forward, so you shear the body forwards, and then releasing the back of the hand against the calf, stretching the right arm up towards the ceiling. And then if it's okay for the neck, turning the head to look up towards the fingertips. And then as you exhale, looking back down towards the foot. And inhale, bringing the arms up to parallel again. And then bending through the left knee. Release the elbow onto the knee. And then swing the right arm all the way up and through so you find a nice stretch through inhale, reaching the arm up and over, and then exhaling, stepping the feet forwards and coming into a relaxed standing pose here. Okay, so now we're going to come down into a squat position. So bring your feet to about the edge of your mat, with the toes turned slightly out. And then bring the hands into the heart center. And then as you inhale, lift up through the chest, and then as you exhale, start to bend the knees, coming down into a squat. Now you may find you get to a certain point and you need to lift the heels off the floor, or if you can, coming all the way down with the heels flat, but whichever one's going to work for you. And then if you can, see if you can bring the elbows to the inside of the knees, opening out through the groin here. And then just taking the hands behind you and bringing yourselves down into sitting with the soles of the feet together. And holding on here to your ankles. So trying to get the spine into a nice straight position. So let me just demonstrate here. So sometimes people are tempted to hold on to the toes, and this makes the back sort of hunch through the shoulders here. Whereas we're trying to get this nice upright position. So I find it's better to hold onto the ankles, and then you can slightly rotate the pelvis forwards, and that brings the back up a little bit more upright. And then releasing the legs out, just resting the hands behind for a moment, have a little shake out of the legs. Okay, and then sitting back up straight again, we're going to bend the right knee in. Now listen carefully here. So right hand underneath the right calf, so you can lift the foot up and then hold on to it with the other hand. Okay, so the hands underneath the calf here, and then we just open it out to the side, a little bit of a rock here. And then bring the foot back in front of you, and then slide the hands to hold on to the heel and the toes. And then as you inhale, lift the foot up, and as you exhale, start to squeeze it in towards you. Try to keep the back up straight here, so you're not rounding through the spine, so using quite a lot of your abdominal core strength here. And then letting the foot just release there alongside the left thigh, and then pointing the left toes up towards the ceiling. I'm going to take the hands out to the side, inhale, reaching up with the arms, and then hinging from the hips as you exhale, release down over the leg. Just let the hands rest either side of the leg, lifting up through the spine, and then releasing, letting the elbows soften as you come into your forward fold, letting the head release down, so looking down towards the knee, finding that extension up the spine, releasing the belly towards the thigh, and then stretching out with the fingertips. Inhale, reaching the arms back up, and then we're going to twist towards the right side, so left hand coming onto the knee, right hand close to the base of the spine here. So bringing it in fairly close to support the spine as you turn to look over your right shoulder. And then exhale and turn back to the center, releasing that leg out. Have a little bit of a shake out again. And then taking it to the other side, so come back to sitting up straight, and then bending the left leg in, take the left hand underneath the calf, picking the foot up, holding onto it with the other hand, and then starting to open out from the hips. And then bring the foot back into the center, hands round to the heel and toes, and then inhale, lift the foot up, and then exhale to squeeze it in towards you. Keeping the back up straight here. And then releasing sole of the foot alongside the thigh. And now pointing the right toes up towards the ceiling, so you stretch down the back of that right leg, taking the arms out to the side. Inhale, reaching the hands up. And then as you exhale, folding down over that right leg, releasing the hands either side of the leg. Again, think about lengthening the spine as you inhale, and then as you exhale, releasing into the fold. Softening through the elbows. Couple more breaths here. And then stretching out the fingertips, inhale, reaching up with the arms, and then twisting around now to the left side, so right hand onto the knee, left hand behind, close into the base of the spine to keep the spine upright, turning to look over the right shoulder. And then exhaling, coming back to the center. Release the legs out in front and relax hands behind. Okay, so sitting up straight again, we're going to take the feet out nice and wide and start to activate the toes again, so we feel a bit of a stretch through the groin here. And then clasping the hands in front of you. And we're going to slowly circle the hands around as if you're stirring a big pot. And then coming back into the center and then taking it around the other way. This is really nice for the hips and pelvis. And then coming back into the center again. And then just opening out the hands, letting the palms of the hands release to the floor, maybe just letting the eyes close to relax here. And then we're going to come into a side stretch, so taking your right hand to the inside of the knee, left arm out to the side, and then inhaling the left arm up. As you exhale, bend that elbow so it presses against the inside of the knee, reaching the left arm all the way over, and then just turning the body so you're looking up underneath the left arm, maybe reaching fingertips all the way towards the toes, stretching down the whole of the left side of the body, and then inhale and come back up. Just bringing the hands to rest into the center again, taking a moment here. And then taking it to the other side, so left hand in front of the knee, right arm to the side. Inhale, reach up, and then bend the elbow to press the elbow against the inside of the knee, reaching the fingertips all the way over, and then turning the head to look underneath the arm. Breathing steadily here. And then as you inhale, reach the arm up and over. And then exhaling, just resting the hands back to the floor. And then taking the hands underneath the knees, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together, but this time a bit further away from you. So you've got a diamond shape with legs. And coming into a turtle pose here, so we're going to release the body forwards. You can either have the hands resting onto the feet or sliding the hands underneath the calves, walking the fingertips forwards, and then just allowing the spine to round here. Like the shell of a turtle, letting the neck soften so the head releases down. Couple more breaths here. And then on your next inhale, walking the hands back in. And then just resting the hands behind you, stretching out with the legs as you come into a relaxed seated pose. Okay, now we're going to come onto our tummies for some back bends. So starting here in a Sphinx pose with the elbows underneath the shoulders. So I probably shouldn't have worn a blue top and with a blue mat, because you probably can't see that clearly. And then just looking straight ahead, so the neck's into a nice neutral position. Just letting the hips settle into the floor. Might want to just have a little wiggle of the hips here. And then coming to a stillness. Finding that nice arch through the back. And then letting the elbows open out to the side, turning the head towards the left side, right cheek resting onto the mat. Allowing the spine to come back into its natural curves. And then we're going to move into a cobra pose now. So we're going to take the hands out in front of us, bringing your forehead to rest onto the mat. And then as you exhale, bring the hands underneath the shoulders. And as you inhale, start to lift the head and the chest off the mat. So keeping the no weight into the hands initially. So you feel the muscles in the back working here. See how that's feeling for you. If you feel like going a little bit deeper into the pose, then starting to take a little bit of weight into the hands. Try to keep the elbows in close to the side of the body, with the elbows slightly bent, so you're not just pushing straight up onto your arms, because that's not going to be great for your back. Keep breathing here. And then as you exhale, slowly releasing it all the way back down, and then turning the head to the other side, so now resting left cheek onto the mat. So that was working through the upper part of the back. Now we're coming to the lower back. So we're going to make the hands into a fist. Lift the hips up and just slide the fist underneath your thighs. And then bring the toes to touch. And then for these exercises, try to keep your chin in contact with the mat. So try not to lift your head up to see what I'm doing. So chin on the mat. Just listen to the instructions here. So stretch out through the right toes. And then as you inhale, raise the right leg up. Keep breathing nice and naturally while you're here. Feeling it now through the lower back and the glute muscles. And then on the exhale, slowly releasing that leg back down. And then relaxing the right leg, pointing the left toes out, and then inhaling as you raise the left leg up. Keeping the breath steady. And then as you exhale, slowly releasing down. And then both legs together. So pointing the toes back, inhaling, raising both legs up, keeping the chin in contact with the mat. Nice steady breath. And then on the next exhalation, slowly letting the legs release back down. And then bringing the hands alongside your thighs, turning your head towards the left, letting the right cheek rest onto the mat, palms facing upwards, just resting here for a moment or two. And then coming into a full back bend here, so we're going to do a flying locust pose, the chin onto the mat, opening your arms out to about 45 degrees with the palms facing downwards. And then as you start to inhale, lifting up arms, legs, head, chest, everything off the floor. Looking straight ahead, keep breathing. And then as you exhale, slowly releasing it down, turning the head now to the right side, letting the left cheek rest onto the mat. Just taking a few moments here, feeling the spine settling back into its neutral curves. Feeling the connection of the belly with the floor as you inhale. And then slowly starting to bring yourselves back up onto all fours, bringing the hands under the shoulders, pushing up back to a tabletop position, and then maybe just take a little bit of a circle around one way, and then back around the other way. And we're going to come now to a dragon pose. So we're going to step the right foot forwards down to the outside of the right hand. And let the left knee go back as far as it can. So if you're on a hard floor, you might want to put maybe a towel or an extra, if you have an extra mat like I do, another mat underneath. So you're not hurting that kneecap. Or you could bring a cushion or something underneath. And then we can take it into a twist here, bringing the right hand up onto the knee and then turning to look over that right shoulder. And then as you exhale, bringing the hand back down. Okay, now we're going to come from this pose into a pigeon pose. So here we want to walk that foot over to the other side of the mat and bring the right knee behind the right wrist. Keeping the hips facing towards the front of the mat, so the knee out towards the right hand side, and then sliding the left leg back as you come into a pigeon pose. So try to keep the hips facing forwards. You might need to bring the foot a bit more in towards you. So Jill, see if you can, bring the knee down onto the floor. That's fine, Okay, we all there? And then walking the hands forwards, we can come into a sleeping pigeon pose, either bringing the head all the way to the floor, or again, you've got that option to bend the elbows, perhaps resting the forehead onto the forearms. And then as you inhale, walking the hands back in line with the knee here, coming to that upright pigeon pose. And then pressing the weight into the hands, bringing the knees back underneath the hips. So we've got a space between the knees. And then walking the hands forwards a foot or so, and then dropping the head down between the elbows, coming into a puppy pose or a prayer pose. And then inhale, walking the hands back underneath the shoulders again. And then we're going to step the left foot forwards to the outside of the left knee. The hands under the shoulders, foot to the outside of the hands. Working the right knee as far back as it will comfortably go. So you find a stretch through the front of the right thigh here. And then bringing the left hand up onto your knee as you come into a twist, looking over the left shoulder. And then exhaling as you release the hand back to the floor again. And then adjusting to the pigeon pose by walking the foot to the other side of the mat and then bringing the knee down behind the wrist, or whichever way you can find to do that. And then releasing the right hip down towards the heel. So try to keep the hips facing. So if you're flopped over onto one side, a couple of people I can see, try to lift that left hip up so your hips. So letting that steady. Move your knee a little bit more towards the left hand. Yes, and keep the hips facing forwards. And then walking the hands out in front of you and resting the head down. If it doesn't come to the mat, then bending the elbows to bring the head onto the forearms. And walking the hands back alongside the knee, coming into the upright pigeon pose. And then pressing the weight into the hands, bringing the knees back underneath the hips, and then walk the hands forwards and dropping the head down into your prayer pose. And then as you inhale, walking the hands back in. So coming into the center of the mat here, we're going to come into a back bend, a camel pose. So knees, there should be a bit of a gap between the knees, so you can put your fist in between the knees here. Legs are just pointing out straight behind you. Bring the hands into the small of the back like we did for our standing back bend, fingers pointing down. And then inhale, lift up through the chest. As you exhale, pushing the hips forwards, maybe lifting the head up to gaze towards the ceiling. And then just keep breathing nice and steadily here, so don't ever hold your breath in the back bend. And then as you inhale, coming back up, and then exhaling, coming down to sitting on your heels, and then just adjusting the knees in together, so sitting onto the heels here. Just looking straight ahead, it's a nice pose. Keep the back in good alignment. And then we're going to release out with the legs. Come into a twist pose. So I need you to listen to the lefts and rights here. So we're going to bring the right foot alongside the left buttock. And then take the left foot to the outside of the right knee. Now, if you find that the left buttock, in order to do that, you have to lift the left buttock off the floor, then keep the right leg extended out in front of you. So you've got two options. You can either have the leg straight or have the leg bent. Okay, so two options there. And then taking the right hand up, and then either hugging the knee in towards you, so the elbow around the knee, or taking the elbow to the outside of the knee. And then the left hand is going to come in to support behind and turn to look over your left shoulder. So we should all be looking over the left shoulder. Yeah. So Debbie, hands supporting behind you. That's right. And then exhale and turn back to the center. Okay, now if you've got your legs straight, just bend your right knee in, and then you're going to bring the left knee to just rest into the arch of the right foot. And then we turn over to the other side, looking over the right shoulder. And then exhale back to the center. Okay, so from where you are now, take your right hand in front of your right knee, lifting yourself up, and then bringing yourself into a gate pose, so planting the sole of the left foot onto the floor. So the hand, knee, and the foot should be in a straight line here. And then we're going to stretch up with the left hand. So we've got a nice straight line through the shoulders. Keep breathing. And then exhale, turning back towards the mat, and then just coming back to sitting on your heels. Okay, and then resting the legs out in front again. Okay, so same as we did before, but the other side. So now the left foot, we're going to bring alongside under the right leg and alongside the right buttock. And then the right foot over the top of the left knee. And again, if you find that you can't do that without lifting the buttock off the floor, then just stretch that left leg out in front of you. Okay. Now we're going to twist over to the right, so reaching up with the left arm, turning to the right side, again either hook the elbow around the knee, or if you're more advanced, bringing the elbow over the outside of the knee, and then the other hand close to the base of the spine as you turn to look over the right shoulder. So Debbie, I would say stretch your left leg out in front of you. Okay, and then exhale and turn back to the center. And then if you've got the leg bent, just bend it in here, taking the right knee behind the left foot. And then we're turning now towards the left side, releasing through. So turn the hands around to the outside of the left leg. And then release back to the center. And then taking the left hand in front of the left knee, the foot planted flat onto the floor, the back foot, and then lifting up into that gate pose. And as you exhale, coming back into the center, and then we're just going to come into a child pose to rest for a little while. So either have the hands in front of you, forehead resting on the hands, or if it's available to you, bringing the hands alongside the feet and letting the head come all the way to the floor. So just make sure the head is supported either onto the floor or resting onto your hands. Letting the shoulders just soften here. And then inhale as you come up to sitting on your heels again. Okay, and then just watch for a moment as I demonstrate the next couple of poses. So we're going to come into a twist pose. So you're going to be lying onto your back and then bending the right knee in towards you and then taking the foot across to the left knee, stretching the right arm out to the side and then twisting the knee to the side. Okay, I'll talk you through that. So everybody come down onto their backs. So hugging both knees in, just take a little bit of a rock side to side. And then hold on to the right knee, stretching the left leg down to the floor. And then just squeezing the right knee down towards the right shoulder. And then take the sole of the right foot across to the left knee. Stretch your right arm out to perpendicular. And then you could just use the left hand to guide the knee across to the left side of the body, and then maybe turning your head so you look back towards the right hand. So finding a nice stretch down the length of the spine here. And then releasing back onto your back, bending the knees in, giving yourself a little hug and a rock side to side. And then holding onto the left knee, releasing the right leg now flat to the floor, gently squeezing the left knee towards the shoulder. And then take the left foot across to the right knee, stretching the left arm to the side now and rotating over the other way. That's guiding the knee with the right hand, taking the knee over to the right side of the body. And then exhaling, coming back into the center, bending both knees in towards you, placing the hands onto the kneecaps. Circle the knees around one way. And then circling back the other way. And then letting the feet release onto the floor, letting the legs relax out. Taking the hands out to the side as you come into your final relaxation. So if it's a bit cold where you are, you might want to put socks on or a jacket or a blanket or something. So you're going to stay nice and comfortable for the next 5 minutes or so. I'm going to come up to sitting, but you stay lying onto your backs as we prepare for what most people say is the best part of the class. So you all lie down onto your backs, please. it doesn't work if I'm lying on my back because it doesn't get picked up on the mic. Okay, so relaxing onto your back, letting the arms open out to the side, finding the weight of the body pressing into the mat, noticing the points of contact between the floor and the mat, floor and the ground. Maybe letting the palms of the hands face towards the ceiling helps to release tension out of the shoulders. And bringing your awareness to your feet, allowing the toes to relax, relaxing through the insteps, relaxing the ankles, relaxing the calves, relaxing the knees and the kneecaps, relaxing the front of the thighs, the back of the thighs, relaxing the hips and pelvis, relaxing the buttocks. Feeling the lower part of the body is completely relaxed. Bringing your awareness to your torso, relaxing the muscles of the abdomen, relaxing the rib cage, relaxing the chest, feeling the front of the body completely relaxed. Bringing your awareness to the back, relaxing the muscles in the back, relaxing the spine from the neck down the vertebrae to the tailbone. Feeling the whole back of the body completely relaxed. Bringing your awareness to the neck and the shoulders, relaxing the muscles of the neck, relaxing the shoulders and the upper arms, relaxing the elbows and the forearms, relaxing the wrists and the hands, relaxing the fingers and thumbs, feeling the whole body from the neck down completely relaxed. And bringing your awareness to your head, relaxing the chin and the cheeks, relaxing the jaw, letting the tongue rest into the lower jaw, relaxing the eyeballs and the eyelids, relaxing the forehead and the temples, relaxing the crown of the head. Feeling the whole body from the crown of the head down to the tips of the toes is completely relaxed. The whole body completely relaxed. And then bringing your awareness back to your breath, noticing cool air flowing in through your nostrils, and warm, stale air flowing out, feeling fresh energy and fresh oxygen flowing into the body, filling the heart and the lungs. Feeling energy flowing up towards your head, energizing your brain. Feeling energy flowing down your arms to the tips of your fingers. Energy flowing down the torso, energizing the vital organs. Energy flowing all the way down the legs to the tips of the toes, bringing healing, rejuvenating energy to every cell in your body. And then starting to make small movements of the fingers and the toes as you bring the body back to life again. And then stretching the arms overhead, rolling yourself over onto the right side, maybe just letting the left hand rest in front of you. And then whenever you're ready, slowly coming on up into sitting. And then giving the hands a little bit of a rub to create a bit of heat. And then resting the hands onto the face, massaging over the face and the head, and the back of the neck and the shoulders. And then down either side of the spine, down the legs, the knees, calves, ankles, the soles of the feet and the toes. And then from one shoulder down to the fingertips. And then on the other side. And turning the palms to face up, inhaling hands together. As you exhale, bring all the goodness of your yoga practice into your heart center. Lovely to see you all. Stay healthy, stay home. Namaste.